Yeah, this thing's definitely got a little bit more torque than...
What is up, guys? Welcome back to Pat Outdoors. I'm about to head out to work on a weekend, but it's gonna be a good day because we are gonna be assembling a Talaria Sting R. This one's not gonna be mine. This one is actually my boss Joey's. I think he got it because he was inspired by my Talaria XXX and he's looking for an electric dirt bike to ride around his property. At least this one didn't come damaged. I'm gonna start by installing this handlebar, and then I'm gonna go over all the parts that are in all the boxes. It's pretty neat though, like how it comes, right? It's pretty much pre-assembled. You just have to adjust the positioning to your liking. If you see his forks, it's a lot beefier than my Talaria. And the green and the red connector are for the throttle and for the brake safety switch. In the bigger box, it should be a pre-assembled wheel and tire. So it does come deflated, and we have to fill this up to 35 psi. Same thing with the rear wheel. It's got 220 millimeter brake rotors, front and rear. The battery charger looks identical to the one on my Talaria XXX. It's got a built-in cooling fan on the top, heatsink, 67.2 volts, 12 amp charger. Comes with two front panels, one with the blue graphics to match the graphics that come with it. But I think Joey actually wants this one to just be plain black. Same 3-bolt design. Next, I'm going to take the front axle out and then unstrap the fork, have it sit on this block, put the wheel on. For this, I just gotta install these bushings, both sides of the wheel. Just pops in and secured with an O-ring. I'm gonna take this plate off. All right, just gotta line up the brake rotor and slide it in between the two brake pads. Don't really have to torque this too much since the axle is actually going to be held in place by these 4 pinch bolts. It's the same thing as a dirt bike. At least my Yamaha's like this. Good. I'm going to install the fender. Do we have like a bike pump here? Next thing I'm going to install first are the foot pegs. These are directional, so when you have them mounted, they should be folding back in case you hit a stump. And then on the left side, same thing. When you have it mounted, it should fold back in case you hit something. And then on this side, there's also a safety wire for the kickstand, which doesn't allow you to activate the throttle when the kickstand is down. So just be careful with not damaging this wire. And here's how the pegs look mounted at the bottom. Now let's go fill up these tires to 35 psi. I'm gonna have the bike hooked up to the charger for the meantime while I look more into the gear oil situation. I just want to figure out whether or not this thing comes pre-filled. It did come with a bottle of gear oil, but this is for the first oil change. Cooling fan automatically turns on as soon as you plug it in. Looking good so far. Looks like the battery comes about 80% charged from the factory. Now I'm going to install the battery spacers on top of the battery, which is supposed to prevent it from rattling when you're riding trails. I'm going to start with the top one. Just place it over the strap and close the tank cover. Then reopen the tank cover, and it should have stuck to the bottom side of the tank. Now we're going to do the smaller pad, which goes on the back side of the battery. Just going to lift the battery. Turn the breaker on. You should be all set. One last thing that you have to do before you can take out your Sting R is make sure that the gearbox vent tube is ventilated. So this clip, it comes close from shipping. We just got to make sure that it is clipped open so that the vent tube is fully ventilated. Then it came with these two rubber straps or silicone straps just to keep the cables and wiring tidy on the front. Just make sure that there is enough slack on both sides so it does not get caught when you're turning. So once you key it on, you can't just twist the throttle. The kickstand has to be up, and then you have to click this start button. You should be able to throttle now. Yep. It came already in sport mode. To switch from sport to eco, you just press this button in the center. Comes with a horn. Damn, that's loud as shit. Oh, so the headlight just turns on as soon as you key it on. Huh. Talaria XXX has a high beam and a low beam switch. It does look like the speedometer comes preset to kilometers, so let's go fix that. Unit. Switch from metric to imperial. And that changes it from kilometers to miles per hour. Actually going to be doing one more thing on this bike before we hand it off to Joey, and that is taking the cover off behind the horn, and we're going to be snipping the speed limiter wire, which is a brown wire on the connector for the controller. To do that, we just got to take these 3 Allen bolts off, take this cover off, and we'll have access to the connector. Dang, I got to take the fender off again. Cutting this wire is going to take off the speed limiter, which should allow this bike to go from 30 miles an hour to 53 miles an hour. So it is definitely a must-do first modification. Just going to be looking for the brown wire. I believe it is in here. The brown wire that we need to snip is on the black connector, which is tucked way up on top of the horn, and this is the brown wire. We are just going to snip it like that, and that should unlock the speed from 30 miles an hour to 53 miles an hour. Just going to tuck everything back up where it was. What do you? Is it in sport?
It is right now, yeah. It's not too bad. this thing's definitely got a little bit more torque than my XXX. Feels pretty, pulls pretty hard. Ooh. That brown wire definitely. Yeah, man, it's got a good amount of torque.
So the Sting R is definitely the more powerful bike, but I'm still glad that I went with this XXX simply because I use this thing mostly for the street, and the Supermoto wheel set with the DOT rated tires are better suited for that. I also like the headlight design of this and having the RFID key rather than the physical key, just a little bit better, but I do like the Sting R seat so much better than this narrow seat. The Sting R is just a lot more comfortable to sit on. It is about 2 inches higher, and it's got a 19-inch wheel set with dirt tires, so it's better suited for trail use. If I was looking for a dirt bike though, I would just take out my YZ250 or my KLX. But if I didn't have either of these bikes, I definitely would have a Sting R in the garage. If you found today's video helpful in any way, do me a favor and hit that like button. And if you like this kind of content, want to keep up with some of my projects, any of my rides, consider subscribing to this channel. But this is going to be it for today. Thank you for watching.